He is the most extraordinary man. I've known him for a very long time. I'm completely honoured to have him in my life, and the fact that he is prepared to go on this ridiculous journey. Will you please welcome to the stage, for the performance that he has put so much investment in already, the completely magnificent Mr. Damian Wilson, ladies and gentlemen.
When I return, I'll be a soldier. I'm simply living in this army holding. There's nothing to fear, except the war I hear, and civilians in there. The combat clothing. There is no answer when you ask where it's all leading. There must be something we can say or do. Who can belong inside to get out of here? When I return, and I'm much older, I often wonder, will the war be over, and how will I feel that I was sent to kill, with decisions I have no control of. There is no answer when you ask where it's all leading. There must be something we can say or do. Who can belong inside an army town when we're all fighting to get out of here? When I return, and it's all over, I hope you'll carry me upon your shoulder and walk up the hill beneath the cannon, and lay my body down with my companions. There is no answer when you ask where it's all leading. There must be something we can say or do. Who can belong inside an army town when we're all fighting to get out of here? When I return, I'll be a soldier. So this gentleman here, this is my brother. My beautiful younger brother says he wants my microphone. He wants to use my microphone.
Yeah, apparently they should shove you over there now. Hello.
Can you hear me now? Oh, give us some heavy metal volume on here. That beautiful heavy metal volume. You know the Lemmy stuff. You know. Oh, that's it. It might be too much again. I always ask for too much. It's one of those things. But I think I have a heavy metal background. You see. I know this doesn't sound very heavy metal, but if anyone's around on Friday next week, I am playing with a chap called Adam Wakeman, and we are playing at the Cranley Arts Centre. And Adam is truly a metaler. He was in Black Sabbath for 17 years, and he's in Ozzy Osbourne's band. And so we're going to play at the Cranley Arts Centre, but we're going to play some really nice, gentle, unmetal music. Much like this with my brother. So this is this song you've all been waiting for. This is about Brookwood Cemetery. This is When I Leave This Land. By the shooting range, at the door of a plane, a poet lies in the ground. His family is there, and for years they have stared at a wooden box around. Perhaps he stood here, and with phrases of care to have captured the views he found. If you're crossing the line, an angel you'll find deep in the wooded land. Don't wanna grow much older now. I wanna feel the sun shine down. Don't wanna see my bones rust, my skin turn to dust, and change from what I am now.
Follow the path where the trees lead the road, and the tombs are made of stone. Three-bearded men worship within a church arrayed in gold. We can see with our eyes and question our lives, but still not know where we go. If you're sure where you are, well, that's good so far, but we only know what we know.
Don't wanna grow much older now. I wanna feel the sun shine down. Don't wanna see my bones rust, my skin turn to dust, and change from what I am now. The child in the womb was conceived in the wood upon this very ground. Hopes are made clear, a life without fear, and respect of his fellow man. Well, I'll try to be strong as I lead him along the road that has been planned. But I'm still not sure of where I'll be gone when I leave this land. Don't wanna grow much older now. I wanna feel the sun shine down. Don't wanna see my bones rust, my skin turn to dust, and change from what I am now. Don't wanna grow much older now. I wanna feel the sun shine down. Don't wanna see my bones rust, my skin turn to dust, and change from what I am now. Thank you, brother. Look, as if by magic, not one, but two brothers. Two brothers. This is my brother Justin and my brother Paul Judah. He's brought his own mic as well. How wonderful. Do you know the funny thing? My name is Damian Wilson. I live on boats, although technically I don't live on boats because my boat sunk. But if I'm not living in a cemetery, I'm living in boats. I was a weirkeeper, a local weirkeeper. In fact, Stoke Lock was where I used to do the weirs. And I'd come and man the weirs here as well, just behind the theatre. Do you remember a time when Woking never flooded? Do you remember when it used to be quite dry? That was before my time. The flooding did seem to happen whilst I was on duty as the weirkeeper. I can't really explain it other than perhaps it was an act of God. But the funny thing is, when I was manning the weirs and I started doing the weirs, there's a lovely chap, I don't know whether he's still around, but I hope he is, a lovely chap called Dave the Gravedigger. And he spotted me at the weir in Guildford, you know, the mill, you know. And he told me this story of a previous weirkeeper who had devoted his life to the weirs and the way navigation. And he was a lovely chap who lived in the boats, and then he would go, and then he got very frail, very old, and on Christmas Eve he threw himself into the weirs. Now, I don't mean this Christmas Eve, it wasn't the last one. This was a long time ago, apparently. Dave told me in complete detail about this fantastic character. And I thought, I've got to write a song about him. So I went out and I looked on the internet and I started speaking to people from the National Trust and other weirkeepers. And no one knew anything about this chap. And it struck me perhaps Dave, the Gravedigger, wasn't as honest as I'd first taken her. So I'd like to sing a song, a true story, about a chap who perhaps didn't exist. And our beloved way navigation that flows behind us, although it currently doesn't flow behind us because there's been a few floods that have caused a few collapses. So I'm sorry about that. It's no longer my responsibility. They've freed me of the responsibility of looking after the weirs now. So I just hope that in time it'll all repair. This is called The Weirkeeper's Tale. Oh, the wonderful thing about this, of course, I can see in your eyes, is the reason my brother's here is because it's an audience participation song. It is technically, we shouldn't really be singing it because it's a Christmas song as well. So it's audience, I know, it may offend some people out there, but it's only a few days after the 6th. So hopefully you'll accept us singing this because it is very much a local song. The sing-along. Oh, gosh, everyone's going to be down for a cup of tea, aren't they? Right, okay, here we go. It goes like this. It goes... Do you think that you could sing that? Well, it's your turn. And if we could raise the roof, it would be amazing. I mean, my brothers, these are my brothers, and friends, amazing. So, wind it up. We've got to move it on, so we'll make this quite quick then. Here we go. Standing strong, he let the old cogs run. winding down the river with manual work that he always done dependably for many years. Evening would come and he'd ramble along the banks with its tools of trade. Boats sail by as the reeds bow gently to the wash they made. Passing by the cinema would take him home, not since a child he'd been. But you never see him in a restaurant, only lived within his means. Happy though he was with his simple life, baffled seeing others' dreams, only felt complete ever working on, living by the flowing stream. Yeah. I can hear, I can hear. And the sun shines above this town, welcoming another day. But the still water rises up, even on a Christmas day. Everybody saw there was nothing like the rainfall that came their way. People locked their doors and windows to try and keep the water well at bay. Do we understand the simple things in life? Heaven may be what we know. Falling from the mill late that night, the waters finally took him home. And the sun shines above this town, welcoming another day. But the still water rises up, even on a Christmas day. Thank you, my brothers, Paul, Jude, Justin. Thank you, guys. I think we're in there. Now, Gavin very kindly asked me to do 4 songs, but I've got a funny feeling that I've probably taken up my time already. So it's okay. Ready? Straight and go on. Are you sure, Gavin? Don't let me push you. Don't let me push you, Gavin. Guys, this is a Christmas song too. You're gonna love it.
We'll just have a 10-minute interval rather than a 25-minute interval.
If anybody feels they want to leave halfway through, please do. Don't feel worried. If the door's open, it's fine. This is a song about my dad. As a small child on the cusp of Christmas Day, I rose from my bed on hearing Santa's sleigh. Following the noise, I hurried down the stairs to see my father. His hands were open there with an array of lights, a glittering assortment of tiny bulbs, standing my father's face it glowed. Every year the same, reaching from a chair, he'd decorate the room, covering all that's there. And as a child I grew to then become a man, offspring at my feet. I congratulate my dad on his array of lights, a glittering assortment of tiny balls standing in his sight. My father's face would glow with an array of lights, a glittering assortment of tiny balls. Not until that time did Christmas truly show. Then one time he fell and never was the same. Before the year was out, I felt my whole world change. On the way to church, short of midnight, Christmas Eve, the youngest in the car points and says to me, what an array of lights, a glittering assortment of tiny balls, granddads in the sky, showing God where they all go, with his array of lights, a glittering assortment of tiny balls, standing there that night. I felt my father's glow with his array of lights, making Christmas show with his array of lights. It's making Christmas glow. Thank you very much.
Mr. Damian Wilson, Mr. Paul Jude Wilson, and Mr. Justin Wilson.